Hi, welcome to the final video in our 9-part series designed to help you prepare for the Salesforce Public Sector Solutions Accredited Professional Exam. In this video, we'll focus on PSS, security, and best practices, covering key topics that aren't fully covered in the partner learning camp but are super important for the exam. You'll be expecting a lot of questions coming from these three areas: Experience Cloud, security, permission sets, licenses, and profiles. And we'll break down each topic in detail that are applicable for the exam. For Experience Cloud, we'll be going over Experience Cloud templates, license types, sharing set, and sharing settings. For security, we'll be looking into CAPTCHA, Salesforce Shield, and compliant sharing. We'll also do a recap of permission sets, licenses, and profiles for key industry tools, and also the key important PSS applications as well. If you are preparing for the PSS AP exam, be sure to revise these topics covered in this video. And if you are setting up a Experience Cloud portal for your PSS applications, this video will help you understand security best practices and how to assign the right licenses to both community users and internal users. Lastly, I'll walk you through some potential exam questions and highlight the key areas you should focus on to make sure you are fully prepared. Let's get started. Alright, let's quickly cover what we'll be going over today. Experience Cloud will be going over out-of-the-box Experience Cloud templates, such as license and permit template, partner central template, for example. License types, such as customer, community, and user setup, sharing set, and sharing settings. For security, we'll be going over CAPTCHA, Salesforce Shield, which can do platform encryption and event monitoring, and compliant sharing. We'll also do a recap on permission sets, license, and profiles. These will include industry tools, including Business Rules Engine, Intelligent Document Automation, Tableau Analytics, Omni Studio, and Action Plan. We'll also cover important applications such as license and permit management, inspection management, grant making, employee experience management, and emergency response management, also known as emergency program management. In terms of the content, as we mentioned earlier, there is not a lot of materials on partner learning camp, so we'll be going over help article notes and childhood exercises and modules. Let's now take a look at exam content items. So we'll be covering quite a few of these, starting with this one here, which is given business requirements for a digital customer experience, select the appropriate public sector solutions, digital experience offerings to best meet business requirements. So this one is more about Experience Cloud template and Experience Cloud licensing. Next, we have given a business scenario, define the correct steps and tools required to set up an org for public sector solutions. So this includes topics like permission sets, licenses, and profiles. Moving on. Next, we have given an implementation project scenario and business requirements. Recommend the best approach to discover and design the optimal solution to meet business requirements. Given an implementation project scenario, design and document the public sector solutions, highlighting solution implementation best practices. Given a scenario, recommend approaches and techniques to leverage and expand upon the public sector solutions data model. So a lot of these topics here we have covered in previous videos. In this video, we'll only be focusing on the security aspect of it. Next, we have given a business process, implement the appropriate data sharing and role management solutions. So this is all about sharing set, sharing settings, compliant data sharing, org-wide default for external users, CAPTCHA, Salesforce Shield, which can do platform encryption and event monitoring and setup audit trail. Next, we have given a set of business data requirements, design a data management strategy and process to ensure high data quality and seamless integration. Last but not least, we have given a set of business requirements using public sector solutions, identify the necessary actions to ensure the solution is secure and can scale. In terms of resources, these contain help article, childhood modules, and a YouTube playlist from Salesforce. So I'll be posting these links in the description or comments below. So these are the resources that we will be focusing on in this video. Let's now take a look at Experience Cloud. So we'll first go over Experience Cloud templates. This will be followed by license types and user setup, and we'll also go over sharing sets and sharing settings. In terms of Experience Cloud templates, the best way to look at what are the available templates out of the box is to go to Setup, All Sites, and click on New. Once you click on New, you will see a window here. This is where all the templates are, and you can click onto each of these to know more about what these out-of-the-box templates do and their use cases. Now let's take a look at each one of these. Let's start with the employee service template. So this template helps you to build a help center to help your employees to find answers via self-service. They can also request products and services from any department and submit tickets for dedicated support. Next, we have Employee Workspace. So this Employee Workspace template allows you to create a place for employees where they can log in into your work.com org. So this is part of the employee management application. You can use this to provide announcements, schedules, and other critical information at a glance. You can also direct employees to specific apps, tasks, forms, or other pages in the community. This template works with work.com. There is integration that's available. They can display products and data common to your work.com apps. Next, we have applicant site for recruitment. So this is where you can create a portal where job seekers can find and apply for vacancies. Moving on, what we are looking at here is employee site for recruitment. So this is where you can create a portal for hiring managers to manage requisitions and job postings, review applications, and for evaluators to provide feedback on candidates. Next, we have Service Provider Portal. So this portal allows for service providers to collaborate with agencies and constituents to manage service delivery. It gives you an overview of constituents and their assigned benefits. Coming up next, we have grant making. So this is an important one for those that are studying for the exam. This template allows you to create a community that lets grant makers post and manage their funding opportunities and allows grant seekers to apply for and report back on grants. In terms of features, it provides the self-service functionality to grant seekers. It gives them a one-stop shop to review, apply for, and report back on funding opportunities. For external reviewers, it allows them to assess and provide feedback on grant applications. Next, we have benefit assistance. So this portal helps people, families, organizations apply for benefits such as money, reduced taxes, disaster relief, family and children services. This portal gives the constituents an overview of the care plans and services that are assigned to them. Next, we have microsite, which is built on Lightning Web Runtime Framework (LWR). A microsite is a small focus website designed for a specific purpose. And in this particular template, it's for lead capture. So it can capture leads through forms to flow automatically into Salesforce leads in Sales Cloud. And because it's built on LWR framework, it supports quicker load time and higher performance. Next, we have built your own. So this template allows you to build digital experiences such as websites, microsites, and portals using Lightning Web Component programming model. So again, this is built on LWR framework. So this allows faster load time and improved performance compared to the traditional Aura templates. Moving on, this is again important for the PSS AP exam. We have license and permit Experience Cloud template. So this out-of-the-box template allows you to quickly create a portal where your customers can assess their license needs, complete and track applications, file complaints, and search for license holders using pre-configured components. Next, we have the Help Center template. So this template can allow your customers to search and read articles and contact your support team to resolve issues. These articles can cover topics like products, customer locations, or frequently asked questions. Moving on, we have Customer Account Portal. So this portal is where customers can access download articles, view and update their accounts, create and manage cases, claims, or other Salesforce records. Next, we have Customer Service. So this is another important one. It allows you to create a site that lets members post questions, access relevant content and records, view articles, collaborate, and create support cases. What we are looking at here is a blank template for Aura. So similar to LWR where you can build your own template from scratch, this is the Aura version. Next, we have another important one for the PSS AP exam, which is the Partner Central template. So this template allows you to onboard your business partners, allows channel sales, so it extends your CRM system to your partners and make them an extension of your direct sales team by providing a place such as a website for them to register deals, manage leads, check progress, and close business. It also provides collaboration and support functionalities, so you can use this Partner Central template to create an Experience Cloud site that you can use to engage with your partners to help accelerate deals, find subject matter experts, and get updates. You can also give them support tools that include knowledge articles and Q&A in the feeds. Another very useful feature for the partners is you can equip them with dashboards, reports, analytics, and business intelligence that they'll need to be able to grow their business and sell effectively. Next, we have Aloha, which is a template that you can use to build an app launcher that lets users quickly find and access applications using single sign-on, including social logins. Last but not least, we have Salesforce tabs and Visualforce. So this allows you to build a custom site using standard Salesforce structure and tabs that can be fully customized using Visualforce. I'll also include a help article note here as well. So this article will guide you through when you should use each template and its appropriate use cases. So here it lists Customer Account Portal, Partner Central, Customer Service, Help Center, Aura, LWR, Microsites, Aloha. I would encourage you to have a read at this article, and if you want to find more details about these templates, you can click on these links. Again, the best way to learn about these templates is to go on your Salesforce PSS org and click onto those templates that I shown earlier and have a play around and actually create your own Experience Cloud sites using all these different templates. Alright, now let's have a look at Experience Cloud license types and user setup. We'll first cover off license types. This will be followed by user setup, then we'll do a quick summary. So in terms of Experience Cloud licenses, there are 5 different types. Each different community license types determines different level of access to objects and features. So we have external apps, customer community, customer community plus, partner community, and channel accounts. We'll start with external app licenses. So this is best used for customer digital experiences to engage any external stakeholder. This can include brand engagement and customer loyalty. And it's best used when you only need limited access to CRM objects. And this license here can be used with personal accounts. So it's great for business to customer or B2C use cases. And it's good when you want your customer to have minimal interaction with Salesforce records. Next, we have customer community licenses. So this one is best used for business to consumer experiences with large numbers of external users who need to access to case objects or knowledge. And again, this license can be used with personal accounts. So it's ideal for B2C use cases like customer portal or peer-to-peer forums. So the important thing to remember is that this license is great for sites with thousands or even millions of users. It's good for making simple case requests, finding knowledge articles, asking community members questions or pay bill, report a missing credit card, or update personal details. So for example, you set up a knowledge base where you can expect people to find the product info that they need. Beyond looking at the knowledge articles, asking other community member questions and creating a case or two, these community members, they won't be doing much else. Or for example, if you have a customer portal which includes having customers log in or pay a bill, report a missing credit card, or update their home address. Next, we have Customer Community Plus license. So this is best for business to consumer experiences with external users who need to have access to reports and dashboards and need standard sharing. The Customer Community Plus can again be used with personal accounts. So it goes a step above this customer community license that we just talked about, and it can be used for both B2B, business to business, and B2C, business to customer use cases that don't involve sales scenarios. Key benefits: all the sharing benefits of a full Salesforce license and access to reports and dashboards. Next, we have Partner Community License. So this is best for business to business experiences that need access to sales data, such as partner relationship management. And this one here can be used with personal accounts. So it's the highest license tier, and it's great for B2B use cases where your company sells through a distribution channel, grants access to Salesforce objects like leads, opportunities, and campaigns. And you can use this in a variety of use cases like partner relationship management for resellers, broker portals, dealer sites, or B2B commerce. And again, it can be used with personal accounts. Next, we have Channel Accounts License. This is best used for business-to-business sites and portals that calculate their usage based on the number of partners instead of number of individual users. So this license type is usage-based. So it gives the same benefits as this partner community license, but it's packaged differently. Usage is calculated based on the number of partners instead of number of individual users, like we mentioned here. So this is just to emphasize for the exam that it's important to remember this is a usage-based license. Next, we have user setup. So once you figure out the types of licenses that you need for your Experience Cloud site, it's time to set up the users. So every site user in your Salesforce org has to be associated with an account. There are two different types, personal account and business account. Personal account. So personal accounts represent an individual and combines the account and contact fields into a single record. One personal account equals one site user. So this personal account only works with customer community and customer community plus license. The other type is business account. So these accounts that represent companies. You can create many site users associated with one business account. So how do you actually create users as part of a business account? What you need to do first is for the partners, you need to convert account to a partner account by going to the account record drop-down, enable as partner. Once this is done, you can create a contact in the account and convert the contact into a site user, like what we are doing here. So this contact here is associated with this Acme account, and to enable this as a site user, you need to go to the drop down and click on enable partner user. Once this is clicked, this setup user window will appear, and this is where you can specify other details and also license and profile. Let's go through a quick scenario that covers the license and user setup. So in a real case scenario, what you'll do is you'll purchase your community licenses and create users using accounts. And quite often you'll have one or more sites in your org, and you would associate these users as members of a site. The same user can be a member of multiple sites, and a site can have many different users with different license types associated with it. So for example, you purchased 10,000 customer community licenses for your support community and 500 partner community licenses for your reseller site. You created 1,000 customer users via accounts and made them members of the support community. Then you create 250 partners users via accounts and made them members of the partner reseller site. You also added the same 250 partner users to the support community so that they can support your customers and get more business by showing their expertise. And this is just a diagram that shows what we've just talked about in the example. On your Salesforce platform, you have two sites, reseller and support. For your reseller site, it's for partner users. For the support side, you have your customers and also partners there to answer questions and support your customers. In terms of resources, I'll encourage you to go through this help article here and also this Childhead project. I'll post the links in the comments below. So first here we have the help articles. This is a very useful help article to get a deep understanding of the Experience Cloud licenses. Here are some of the frequently asked questions about community licenses and how to create or access Experience Cloud sites. And we've just gone through these different licenses here as well. There's details about login-based licenses. So this is a very good resource for you to go through if you want to have a deeper understanding of how Experience Cloud licenses will work. Next, we have the Childhead module. So what I would recommend you to do is to actually go through the entire project. But if you are wanting to understand a bit more about the licenses that we've just talked about, I would encourage you to go to the second module here, create a partner portal, enable partner account and users and add members. And I would recommend you to go through the second video here. It's very, very useful. Let's now take a look at Experience Cloud sharing sets and sharing settings. We'll go over org-wide default and sharing rules first. This will be followed by sharing sets, and we'll do a comparison between sharing sets and sharing rules, and go over when we should use each one, and also resources for those that want to understand these concepts in more detail. Let's take a look at org-wide default and sharing rules. So a quick recap, org-wide default, what is it? It's basically a security setting that determines the baseline level of access users have to records, such as accounts, contacts, opportunities across the entire org. It sets the default sharing model for your data, controlling who can see what at the most basic level. So in summary, org-wide default defines the default access that users have to records that they don't own. Usually the best practice for org-wide default is that you set it to private for external access and open up access as needed using sharing rules. And this is how and where you set your sharing settings for default external access. You go to Setup and Sharing Settings, click on Edit, and set the object that you need to the appropriate level. And usually the rule of thumb is to start with private and open it up as required using sharing rules. Let's now talk about sharing rules. So to recap, sharing rules are like special exemptions to org-wide default. They allow you to give additional access to records beyond what organization-wide default settings allow. So you can think of it as opening a door to let certain people see or edit records they wouldn't normally have access to. So in summary, you use sharing rules to extend sharing access to users in public groups or roles. Sharing rules give particular users greater access by making automatic exemptions to your org-wide default sharing settings. So here is a screenshot of how you set up an account sharing rules, and this is where you can select which records to be shared by. It's either by roles or public groups. Let's now talk about sharing sets. So sharing sets are a feature specifically designed for Experience Cloud. They allow you to control how external users, like customers, access records in your Salesforce org. Sharing sets basically extend access to records based on the relationship between the external user and the data they need to see. So in summary, sharing sets are a method to provide community portal users access to records associated with their account and contacts based on their user profile. So by default, community portal users with customer community license can only view their own records, such as cases they file with support or a sales order that created by shopping in a store. However, let's say if a staff member creates a sales order for a contact, the staff user will be set as the owner, and the sales order contact won't have access. And this is where you'll need to use a sharing set to open up that level of access for customer community license users. It provides access to records associated with their accounts or contacts based on their user profile. So when we look at sharing sets and sharing rules, the difference is that we create sharing sets specifically for high volume portals and sites to make it easier for large number of external users. So these are usually users with customer community license. So we talked about earlier how customer community license, it's suitable for sites with thousands and millions of users, and it's good for simple use cases with minimal requirement in terms of record access. So sharing sets allow these high volume users to see the records they need to see. Sharing sets use profiles to give record access to a group of users, and this is different to sharing rules, which uses roles and public groups. So to configure sharing set, we'll need to go to Setup, go into Digital Experience Settings, and when you scroll all the way down, there's a section for sharing sets, and when you click on New, this is where you can set up your sharing set. Over here, we have an example use case here. So imagine if you have a customer community where customers can log in to view their support cases, and your goal is to have each customer to see the cases tied to their own account, not anyone else's cases. So how this sharing set can help is that the sharing set uses user account and case account criteria to link the customer to their account and related cases. So if a customer is associated with an account, they can see all the cases tied to their account. And the case level here, which is read-only or read-write, determines whether they can just view the cases or also edit them. In this case, the access level is set to read-only, so it means these community users will only have read-only access for these cases, which matches with their account. Let's do a quick recap. So if using a customer community license, only sharing set will work. But if you are using a customer community plus or partner community license, you can use both sharing rules and sharing sets. But for cases where it requires complex sharing, sharing rules are more appropriate. And for internal users, only sharing rules work. Let's take a look at license support. So sharing sets, it does not support internal users, it's only for external. Sharing rules, it's not available for customer community license. In terms of use cases, you use sharing sets when users need access to related records, and this is usually via account or contact. For sharing rules, it's role-based, ownership-based, or criteria-based access for internal and community users. For sharing sets, it's based for simple contact account-based sharing, while sharing rules are more scalable, flexible, which can be based on roles, groups, and criteria. In terms of the access, it's based on users' contact or account relationship, while sharing rules is based on role, public group, territory, or field criteria. Sharing sets don't support role hierarchy and doesn't support complex criteria. For sharing rules, it supports both. An example use case for sharing sets will be if customers need to only see their own cases, and an example use case for sharing rule can be franchise managers need to see each other's opportunities. In terms of the setup path, for sharing sets, you'll need to go into Setup, Digital Experiences, Settings, then Sharing Sets. For sharing rules, Setup, Sharing Settings, then Sharing Rules. In terms of resources, I'll highly recommend you to go through this YouTube playlist by Salesforce support. It covers who sees what in Experience Cloud. For Childhead, I'll recommend you to go through this entire project, which covers sharing rules, sharing settings, and sharing sets, and org-wide defaults. And in terms of help articles, this help article here goes over how you can create a sharing set for Experience Cloud users. I'll include the links in the comments or description below. Let's now talk about security. We'll cover CAPTCHA, Salesforce Shield, and compliant data sharing. So CAPTCHA stands for Completely Automated Public Turing Test to tell computers and humans apart. It's designed to distinguish between human users and automated bots. So CAPTCHA usually requires users to complete a challenge, such as identifying distorted text, selecting images, etc. Most people might be more familiar with reCAPTCHA. So reCAPTCHA is an advanced version of CAPTCHA that improve security and user experience. So from the user's perspective, you don't need to complete a challenge such as identifying the sorted text or selecting images. And it's a lot easier because you just need to click on it. It's something that's been developed by Google. So what CAPTCHA or reCAPTCHA do is that it protects Experience Cloud sites from bots potentially spamming an application form. Here is a help article on how you can set up reCAPTCHA for your provider Experience Cloud site. For those that are interested, I'll include the link in the description or comments below. Let's now take a look at Salesforce Shield. So Salesforce Shield is a very powerful security add-on that can help organizations protect sensitive data, comply with industry regulations, and monitor system usage. It contains 4 key features. First one here is Salesforce Platform Encryption. So it encrypts data at rest to protect personal identifiable information and confidential business data. Next one is Event Monitoring. So it basically checks users' activity and integrations within Salesforce. It helps with security audits and performance monitoring. So what it does is it logs activities like logins, record views, API usage, and report exports. Field Audit Trail, it keeps a long-term history of changes to critical data fields, ensuring compliance and transparency. And last one but not least, Data Detect. So it finds and protect sensitive data. It scans your org to find personal identifiable information, PII, critical numbers, social security numbers, and other sensitive details. If you are interested to know about these features in detail, I've included the product information and the help article as well. Check out the comments or description below. Alright, let's now take a look at compliant data sharing. We'll first go over how you can share grant-making records using compliant sharing to give you a bit of context as to what you can achieve with compliant data sharing. Then we'll go over the compliant data sharing details and data model. Let's now take a look at how we can share grant-making records using compliant data sharing. If you are new to PSS or new to grant-making, I'll encourage you to check out part 6 of the PSS playlist before going through this. I'll include the link to that video in the description or comments below. So in a nutshell, compliant data sharing enables you to create advanced sharing rules that can be configured by admins or internal users without writing complex code. And the sharing is done based on users' participant role. I'll link the help article in the comments or description below. Here it talks about how you can use compliant data sharing for grant making, and there's details about the permission sets that you need. When it comes to use cases, you can use compliant sharing in grant making so that grant seekers can add collaborators in Experience Cloud to help complete grant applications. Grant managers can add specific applicants in Experience Cloud for private funding opportunities. Grant managers can add grantees as collaborators to manage funding awards. In Salesforce orgs with strict sharing policies, admins and grant managers can internally share records in Salesforce CRM. Let's quickly go over how you can set this up. So going back to this private funding opportunity example or use case, what you need to do first is you need to go into Setup under Compliant Data Sharing Object Enablement Settings. You need to enable funding opportunity for at least the Experience Cloud users so that external parties can be invited and they'll have visibility to this particular funding opportunity record. What you need to do next is you'll need to assign permission sets. So for users, they'll be managing how the records will be shared. using participant roles, they'll need the compliant data sharing manager permission set. And for users that will be invited to collaborate on records, they'll be shared via compliant data sharing. They'll need the compliant data sharing user permission set. So once you have assigned the permission set to the user, you'll need to set up participant role. So participant roles contain information like name and the associated default access level for a role that a participant can have in the context of a parent record. So for example, for this private funding opportunity, we'll need a participant role name called funding collaborator, and the parent object is funding opportunity because we want the external parties to be able to view and edit this record, and the default access level we have set it to read write. And if there are use cases where you don't want to necessarily give edit access to external parties, but you still want them to view the funding opportunity record, you can create another participant role and have the default access level set to read. So once all the setup is complete, how do you actually add participants to this funding opportunity record so they can log into the Experience Cloud site and start editing or contributing to the funding opportunity? You'll need to first add funding opportunity participant on your related list. Once that's complete, you can click on New. And here you'll select a participant. This participant must have the user permission set for compliant data sharing user, otherwise you get an error message. And you can specify the participant role and whether it's active or not. And once you have added the funding opportunity participant, you'll see this coming up on the related list. If you have a group of users that you want to add all at once, what you can do is you can go to Setup Participant Group. You can set up a group, specify the name, and add all the members over here. So when you add the funding opportunity participants, you can add a group instead of having to add all the members individually. Now let's take a look at the compliant data sharing model. So again, I'll link this help article in the link or description below. So this talks about how you can share account and opportunity records using compliant data sharing. Here is what compliant data sharing model looks like for account and opportunity. So we talked about funding opportunity as well, and this will look very similar. For funding opportunity, instead of opportunity participant, you would have funding opportunity participant, and you'll still have the participant role object. So what you'll find is that once you have enabled the object on here, under object enablement settings, you will be getting new objects in your object manager. So in this case, before enabling opportunity object compliant data sharing, you will not see opportunity participant. But once opportunity is enabled in this setup window here for object enablement settings, you will be able to see this new opportunity participant object. So let's quickly go over these objects. So account participant, so this is very similar to what we've talked about in terms of funding opportunity. For funding opportunity, we have the funding opportunity participant. So this object here is basically a junction object that stores a relationship between the user and the participant group or participant role and the account record. Account participants for a record are shown in the account participants related list, and that's the same with opportunity participant. In terms of the objects here, we have participant, and the naming of this object depends on the associated parent object. For account, you'll be account participant. For opportunity, you'll be opportunity participant. And for funding opportunity, you will be funding opportunity participant. Participant role, so this is a setup object that defines an available role for a parent object and an associated data access level. So this is what we defined earlier over here. For funding opportunity, we have defined a funding collaborator role that allows users with this participant role assigned to have read-write access to funding opportunity. For those that are interested in some hands-on exercises, I'll recommend this Childhood module, Compliant Data Sharing in Financial Services Cloud. Although this is not PSS specific, but the underlying concept is very similar, but with different objects. So if you want to get more understanding or some hands-on on this, I'll share the link in the description or comments below. Alright, let's now go over permission sets, licenses, and profiles. So in my earlier videos in this PSS preparation series playlist, I have already covered all these permission sets, licenses, and profiles in detail. So in this video, I'll just do a very quick recap to refresh your memory. If you need an in-depth explanation, be sure to check out the previous videos where I go through each of these topics step by step. Let's take a look at business rules engine first. So for internal and external users that only need read access and don't need to design the business rules engine, you can just assign the rules engine community runtime permission set. For users and developers who need to design the business rules engine, you need to assign the rules engine, the rule engine designer permission set. Moving on, intelligent document automation. For this, to get access to the document checklist, you'll need to assign this permission set for users to be able to access document checklist features. For document workspace, for users that need to have access to intelligent document workspace entities, you'll need to assign intelligent document workspace user. For Experience Cloud users that need access to these features, you'll need to assign the dedicated one for Experience Cloud users, which is intelligent document workspace for Experience Cloud users. Let's now take a look at tabular analytics. For admins who will be implementing and managing these licenses, you'll need two permission sets, CRM Analytics plus admin, TCRM for public sector admin. For users who will be viewing the CRM Analytics platform and the tabular analytics products, you'll need again two permission sets, CRM Analytics plus user, TCRM for public sector user. Let's now take a look at OMI Studio permission sets and licenses. There are three permission sets, one for admin, one for the user, and one for community. So for admin, these are users, they'll need to be designing OMI Studio components. For user, these are the people who need to have read access to these objects and create access to the OMI script saved sessions. For Experience Cloud users runtime, these are Experience Cloud users that need access to OMI Studio content on the Experience Cloud site. Action plan, this one is nice and easy. You just need to assign the action plan's permission set to the user who need access to action plans. Let's now take a look at license and permit management. For this one here, for admins and users who need to configure regulatory authorizations and training requirements or issue licenses and permits, you'll need to grant the public sector access permission set and also open up object access to the objects they need to work with. Let's now take a look at inspection management. So again, similar to license and permit management, you'll need the public sector access license. So in addition to this, inspection management users will need additional 3 permission sets, and these are public sector field access, industries visit, and dynamic assessment access. So public sector field access enables full user access to all inspection-related objects and features, and read-only access to other objects. Industries visit, this will allow the users to get the industry's visit features. And when it comes to dynamic assessment access, it provides internal users with access to dynamic assessment features and objects. Now let's take a look at grant management, which is a managed package that provides grant management capabilities. There are 3 associated permission sets. For internal users who use grants management, they need access to Apex classes that are required to use grants management, assign the grants management base access. For admins and grant makers who create reviews and configure review workspaces, you'll need to assign grants management review workspace, configure workspace permission set. And for admins and grant seekers who review funding requests, you'll need to grant the grants management review workspace, evaluate funding request permission set. Let's now take a look at grant making. So for internal CRM users, you need to assign the grant making manager permission set. For Experience Cloud users, you'll need to assign grant making for Experience Cloud permission set. Moving on, let's look at employee experience management. So there are 3 key access types: system admin access, employee access, and servers team access. For system admins, you'll need to grant the employee workspace admin permission set, which includes the employee experience permission set license. For employees, you need 3 licenses: employee experience for public sector, employee productivity plus access, employee productivity plus user data access. And depending on the capabilities that employee needs, there might be additional permission sets that are required. So these are assessment for employee community, benefits and care plans for employee community, case management for employee community, case proceedings for employee community, and evidence management for employee community. For servers team access, you'll need 3 permission sets. We have employee experience plus for public sector, employee service agent access, employee service agent user data access. Let's now take a look at emergency response or program management. So over here, we have 3 permission set licenses: public sector community, analytics for emergency program management, emergency response for public sector. To enable users to work in emergency response or program management, we need to assign them with the necessary permission set licenses. The public sector community permission set license provides access to public sector data for site users. The analytics for emergency program management provides access to the CRM analytics template, app built for emergency response for public sector, and emergency response for public health. The emergency response for public sector permission set license enables the permission set license for emergency program management. For users that need additional features when working on emergency program management, we can grant additional access, for example, action plans, emergency response management, permission set, and industries visit. So as we talked about earlier, action plans permission set provides users with access to action plans so that they can create action plan templates and assign tasks related to emergency service requests. Emergency response management permission set, it provides internal users with access to emergency program management features such as approval of emergency requests and scheduling emergency service execution tasks. industries visit permission sets. It provides users with this permission set access to objects and features of industries visit. For volunteer management, the permission set license and permission set are actually the same. So for Experience Cloud users, you need to assign public sector for community. For internal Salesforce users, you need to assign emergency response for public sector permission set license. And when it comes to permission set for internal Salesforce users, it's emergency response management permission set. In terms of user profile for volunteers, they'll need the Customer Community Plus user license, ERM Customer Site Plus user profile, and also public sector for community permission set license that we talked about earlier over here. And that wraps up our final video on this PSS AP exam preparation series. I hope this breakdown of PSS security and best practice helped you feel more confident about the exam. Remember to review these topics, go through the previous videos in this series, and get hands-on with these concepts in your Salesforce PSS org. The more you explore and apply what you've learned, the better prepared you will be. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps more people discover free Salesforce study resources and motivates me to create more valuable content for our community. And if you have any questions or you would like me to cover implementation details for specific public sector solutions topics or features, drop a comment below. I would love to help. Again, thanks for watching and best of luck on your PSS AP exam. See you next time.